Hey YouTube! So as you can see, we're in our pajamas. We have our delicious hot chocolates. I have companion cube. Because today we're going to talk about something that's not so comfy. And that would be mental illness. As many of you know, mental illness is becoming a much larger and in-your-face problem as time progresses, and as population grows, and as people's stress levels build and for reasons not everyone can comprehend. Mental illness for us has affected both us personally, with not only ourselves but our families as well. And for me, it's a very personal issue because, lo and behold, I got depression. Yay! Companion cube. And my best friend has been with me throughout most of it. So my story is, when I was 14, my depression got to a point where I tried to kill myself. And for me, that was a big stepping stone in seeking help for my depression, and along the way, anxiety. And that was when I was 14. I'm 19 now, and I just recently started on antidepressants because I got better, but then my problem came back. And so counseling wasn't working. They decided to try something else. And me personally, for the longest time I said no. I didn't want to do antidepressants because I have relatives who have severe mental health issues that cause them a lot of problems in their life, with the authorities, with finding work, with having basically a stable life. And for me, I was exposed to the stigma of mental health, where
if you have if you have a mental health issue, then you're crazy.
Bonkers. No one should associate you. You should be tied up in a straitjacket and thrown in a slammer. And with my family members, my mother grew up with it, and so I was terrified of having any issues.
And plus, like a lot of mental health issues, some of it's hereditary. Like some of it it might not happen to you unless you happen to trigger it somehow.
We never really found out what my triggers were that caused it, but honestly, I'm at the point where I don't care what caused it. I'm just trying to learn how to live with it. Because, yes, everyone has anxiety and depression at some point. You have it throughout your life, but
It's a normal amount.
But when it becomes a condition, when it affects basically your ability to function in daily life.
Explain to them what it's like having anxiety,
Anxiety?
panic attacks.
Panic attacks are terrifying. Half the time, I can't come out of it until someone finds me. And usually my mother or one of my sisters. And for me, it starts with racing thoughts, and I've tried taking mindful exercise and trying to counter it, and it gets to the point where it starts spiraling down and down into a vicious circle where it just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating, and you can't get out of it. I tried drowning out with music, which only sometimes just blocks me and more. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. It gets to the point where I'm crying, I'm shaking, and I can't speak, and besides shaking, I can't move. My mother, it once took her a good 5 minutes to help me calm down before I could even form words to tell her simple words like no, not okay. And for me, anxiety, I feel really hot. My chest constricts. And I just feel this panic and I can't explain it. Well, with depression, I get really cold. I feel empty, like there's nothing inside me. With anxiety, it feels like all these things are inside me and I can't get them out. And a lot of people think I can't do anything, I can't talk to my parents, they can't find a way. Some people get to the point where they can't find the help they need and they take their life. And don't ever tell someone it's selfish. That only makes it worse, and it makes them feel guilty and makes them feel worse.
If you're surrounded by people who love you and you told them about, being suicidal, then they should step up and try to prevent it or do something about it, because usually when people tell you or they push you away is when they need you the most.
And what breaks my heart most is part of my making sure I don't get suicidal is to have a safety network, and some people don't have that, and that's where things go wrong, and it breaks my heart when that happens. Whether it be a kid or an adult, when they feel like there's no hope and they just let go, because they're not giving up. My therapist once told me there are two strengths of the world: the strength to live and the strength to die. The strength to live is a lot harder, but it's worth it. But then there's the people who they just can't. They let go because they're not giving up, they're letting go. The thing is, when you tell us, if your friend's suicidal, your family member or you, and there's people telling you or you telling people that they're selfish, that they shouldn't be giving up, and basically being rude and put downs, it's not helping the problem.
Because you have to understand where they're coming from and the reasons why that they're suicidal. Some of them aren't very cut and dry. You
gotta be willing to put the time in to listen to them. And sometimes all they need is someone just there to listen, and it alleviates some of that pressure. Because a lot of people that end up leaving this world end up feeling like they have no one to talk to, no one who will listen, and they feel trapped. And that's the worst place to be. And so,
for myself, I'm not affected by anxiety or depression personally. I am affected by it through, indirectly, through my friends and family members who have anxiety and depression and stuff like that. And as someone who doesn't have it, it's hard to handle it too when you don't have it, because sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do in this certain situation, what not to do, and what works and what doesn't work. But sometimes it's just what works in this situation but might not work again in another situation, or the exact same thing might happen twice, and you might try the thing that worked last time but it won't work again. That's hard. It's also hard to figure out why they're having a panic attack, and then they don't know why, and you don't know why. You're trying to figure out why this is happening, and then it's hard. It's really hard to handle.
especially with sometimes panic attacks or anxiety attacks or feeling depressed just comes on for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's never a reason. It just happens. And it's having that your safety net and your building plans to work with that'll help you get back out there. For me, I'm usually a very extroverted person. I'm very social. And so I try to keep that up because it does make me feel better to get out there. When I come back, I sink down a bit, but I still feel good that I got out there, that I got that lift. And for me, I will live with it for the rest of my life. As sucky as that sounds.
Everyone with mental illness lives with it for the rest of their lives.
It doesn't disappear. And it doesn't just stop.
And you can't just think differently and it'll go away. Because I used to be one of those people who would be like, well, just think positive thoughts and it'll go away. But you can't. It's because the depression part,
it's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
Not only for yourself, but for the people who care about you around you. But that's the thing people have to remember. You do have people around you who love you. And as long as
support you no matter what.
As long as you're trying to get better, they'll be there by your side to help you along the way. For me, I have aunts. They're my half aunts who have serious mental illnesses, which was triggered. My family believes was triggered by drug abuse. They both have bipolar with schizophrenic tendencies. And for them, it's a constant struggle because it has caused them to come in and out of jail, to get into the wrong groups of people. I think one of them they've been in and out of rehabs, and even still to this day, it's hard to talk to them because the way they live their lives has shut the people who have loved them out. It has. I don't know how to talk to my aunts. I don't know how to associate with them. I know they're my aunts and they were around occasionally when I was younger. But their actions have caused them to lose the people around them because they didn't want to get better.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who may not know how anxiety works in a psychological way, anxiety is it's a lack of serotonin in the brain. So when you have a lack of serotonin, it causes it can cause
Inspires?
it can cause this sign.
Quick fire?
Yeah, quick aggression. It can cause quick aggression, and that's another issue. It's sometimes the aggression that comes out of people with anxiety and depression. You know, they're people can sometimes be really quick to snap, or they're really, quick to anger, and you as the other person trying to figure out, why, and yeah.
And with me as a kid, I was very aggressive, and we didn't know why. And it wasn't until, and even when I first started high school, I was still quite aggressive, but I was also making friends. And it wasn't until I started going to different counselings over the years that I found anger is a secondary emotion, and there's usually something under it that causes it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I didn't know that mental health could have affected my aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And it explains why when I start feeling anxious, why I get aggressive, and it was explained to me. I wish I would have known I was younger, so I wouldn't have felt so bad, and so that I would have been able to cope with it better, because it caused me to be bullied, because I didn't fully understand how to control it, because I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm. I read somewhere that the feeling of true anger only lasts 30 seconds. The rest of it is up to you. So if you're like, oh, I'm angry, and it only lasts 30 seconds, and then the rest of it, it's like you're thinking about it, and you're angry, you get angry thoughts and stuff. But then I guess if people have anxiety, it's just magnified, because then there's the anger, and then the anxiousness, and then the aggression and the anger, because you're like, I'm anxious, I don't know why. So I'm getting frustrated because I don't know why I'm anxious, and now I'm going to get angry because I still don't know why I'm anxious. And because you're trying, it's probably maybe, and then on top of that, you got your depression, the depression, and they're like two peas in a pod. They go together.
And my big thing was people love to push my buttons. Even today, I still have a few people who like to get a response out of me, and for me, it's not easy on me because it's hard on my mental strength, my emotional, my physical body as well. And for me, it's learning when to explain to people, I need you to stop this. It's not good for me. It's bad for my health. And explain to them why. And for me, sometimes it gets hard explaining to people who don't understand. And even now, I've had people, when I used to get anxious, one of my phobias would make me anxious. And people love to exploit your phobias and watch you freak out. And back then, they thought it was all a joke. And for me, I'm panicking. To them, it seemed like a silly phobia, but to me, it's like, no, don't do this to me. It's like betraying my trust. Because they found it hilarious. And that's another thing. A lot of people see
it's funny to, that scares you. Oh, it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do that to you.
Or to make someone cry. I've had a lot of people make me cry.
It's not cool. But for me, I'm learning a lot of things about anxiety and depression that I didn't know about. I'm still learning about it. You know, I know about like the psychology of it and like why it happens in the brain, but then like that's only the brain part of it. That's a very pathological view of it. I'm not looking at the individual side of it. So, and now I'm learning about the individual side of it too, and like how it affects people and how it doesn't affect certain people. Everyone with anxiety and depression, it affects them differently. Like none of people are really the same. They might have the same symptoms, they might sometimes feel the same way, like, I was in the grocery store the other day and my heart was just pounding and, you know, different symptoms or whatever, but usually they're never really quite the same.
And for me, even though I live and breathe with my mental illness, I still have things to learn about it. I will never stop learning about it. And for me, some days I could be triggered by going to a crowded mall, and other days I'm fine. I could be with a group of friends one day and be fine, but the next day I just want out of there.
It's like you have your good days and your bad days.
It's like sometimes the sun's there and sometimes it's behind the clouds. And it's learning to notice the signs of certain triggers that occasionally happen. It's good to be prepared for bad days.
And it's good to know like what triggers the anxiety, and then to let that person, if you're with someone, to let them know, you know, I'm feeling anxious or whatever, however you're feeling, whatever. But I personally think that it still should be up to the person with the anxiety and depression to decide what they want to do. Do they want to leave the store? Do they want to keep going? It has to be up to them. Like I don't.
You don't force them. It needs to be their choice.
Yeah.
Forcing them is only going to make them not want to be around you, and it only hurts them more. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make the problem better. It'll make it worse.
So I remember, a couple years back, I was at the mall with some of my friends, and one of my friends said, you know, I'm getting anxious, and I was kind of going, well, what do you do about it? Yeah, I didn't say it in a very, you know, supportive way or whatever, right? And then, you know, we went around, I went to a store, and then we were waiting in the food court, you know, for one of your friends to come, and then she asked, can we leave? And I'm like, yeah, we can leave, you know. So we ended up leaving. I ultimately left it up to her to decide like what we were going to do, but my initial response to her being anxious probably wasn't the best.
No, well, that's the thing. We're
still learning.
You'll never stop learning. Everyone is different. You may meet a friend the next day who has anxiety, who acts completely different than, say, your other friends or your family. And the thing is, the best thing to do for them is ask them what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and people with anxiety and depression, they always shock me because they're usually people I would never expect to have it. Not in a million years. Like, it just blows my mind that the people who I know who have anxiety and depression, like, I would never have known if they didn't tell me.
Like, when I finally came out and told my friends that my depression was bad, that I tried to commit suicide, they were shocked. Because they knew I was sad, but they didn't know how bad I was, because I still smiled, I still kept functioning, I still kept going. But I was being eaten away at the inside, and I wasn't talking about it. And for me, when I had my best friend, who was there for me a lot, I had a lot of the sofa girls who were there for me at the time. It was you, it was Cheryl, and once Vanessa and Maddie came around, I told them too. I opened up to them, and they're still very supportive.
Mm. Yeah, I remember when you told me that you wanted to kill yourself.
You were pissed.
It's the first time I ever yelled at you.
Yeah, it was scary. Her yelling is scary. But it showed, I wasn't mad or terrified or anything that she yelled at me. I was grateful because I knew she cared. I knew a lot of people cared for me, but I got so wrapped up in my own self, and I didn't handle it well because I didn't know how.
And don't forget, you were younger then too. Not to say that, like, I'm not trying to, devalue 14-year-old mentality and the way you felt when you were 14, younger. But you're younger and you're a lot older now, so now you can look back and you can see, like, hindsight is always 20/20. That's what I'm trying to say, like. and you had a different situation back then.
Yeah, I'm a lot better situation now, but my depression still pokes its ugly head because I'm still gonna get thrown curveballs by life. It's learning how to deal with them though that's the battle for me. So yeah. Mental health is still facing a huge stigma even in today's society, but even now there are groups who are making steps to help eradicate that stigma and helping people get the help they need. And with that, I'm grateful.
To quote the gay the LGBT, it gets better. It gets better.
It does.
It will get better.
So, all you tea lovers out there, keep your chin up, keep smiling, and have a good night.
Have hope.
Bye.
Good night. That was very long.
Well,
You're on a roll.